and let us all do we can to build a better future. You got a story for people. What is going on?
Okay, so I have an interesting video from Twitter. I picked it up because I just want to remind everyone, since I have not been able to do this for a period of time, what an absolute disgrace the so-called progressive squad is. The squad is, first of all, not a squad. It is a group of individuals that don't get along. And two, not progressive. Hasn't fought for anything. And you could see as soon as that political dial turned and it was not pressure on them, all of a sudden they're like, we should force votes. I really like, hey guys, you remember when everyone was telling us that we were full of it because we had the audacity of saying, hey, maybe we can force the vote. Maybe it's an efficient way to do things. A lot of other groups agree with it. Maybe we should follow through and make it happen. And then TYT said people like us were nuisances. Majority Report got his one viewer to agree with him. Sam Cedar sold fake knives and also tried to say this. And all of them were like, you can't do this now. And remember, what was the thing that they said would happen if force the vote happened? Kevin McCarthy would be speaker.
Yeah.
And now look what's happened. They got nothing. They asked for nothing. They did nothing. They're useless. And Kevin McCarthy speaker.
I can't believe it. Kevin. Hey, everyone, let's have democracy in the chat. Controversial statement, but are you surprised that Kevin McCarthy is Speaker of the House? Type 1 if you are. Type 2 is like, come on, man. Yes, he's Speaker of the House.
We should do it. You know what we should do? We should have a T-shirt that's like Kevin McCarthy Speaker, and all I got was this lousy violence.
All right. Let's go ahead and play this video.
Valier reporting, and this is the Washington Post, that bills will be introduced tomorrow by the left, by progressives, in California, Connecticut, Hawaii, Illinois, Maryland, New York, and Washington State to bring up the taxes and even to generate a wealth tax. They can't do that in Washington, can they?
No, there's going to be no changes to the tax laws in Washington, especially when you have a Republican-controlled House. We did have a Democrat-controlled House, a Democrat-controlled Senate, and obviously the president is a Democrat. And still, most of the Trump-era tax cuts have lived through. So there's no way there's going to be any changes when you have the GOP in charge of the House. But you make the point, Tom, and Greg Valier this morning, is the fact of the matter is these progressives cannot get any of this done through Congress.
That was just so beautiful right there. I had to pause it right there. They can't get any. And mind you, again, this is like a huge slap in the face. They can't get anything done.
And here's the thing. That's not even true. They just won't. They could.
Yep.
They could have forced a vote. They had the numbers. They could have done something. But instead, it was so funny listening to AOC talk about it. She's like, well, there's other things you have to consider. We don't want people to be upset at us because then they won't help us in the things that we want, which we don't get anyway.
They're not. Listen, okay. If anyone's not seen the Monday show that I host with Farron, please do so because she has been in Washington, D.C. She's seen these very same politicians without the cameras on. These people don't like each other. AOC saying, "Oh, we gotta be nice, so we're friends." No, it's not. It's petty. It's a petty environment. They don't like each other. Hell, they don't like their constituents. So all this crap that AOC was saying in a video earlier, oh, we gotta work together. We can't. And then she, remember when she was saying she was against forced to vote, she said we need to get committee seats. Now in that previous video that we covered, I believe a week ago, AOC said, committee seats, are not a big deal. What?
You know what it should say? AOC, how many of your constituents' lives are you going to make worse before you accept that you're not trying to help them?
She's not doing jack, man. So anyways, we'll just rewind this again because I want everyone to hear the words of how the squad doesn't do jack on Bloomberg.
It's like when Bloomberg calls you out on this in this way, you've screwed up.
Yep, exactly. So let me just go and rewind back.
Have a Democrat-controlled House, a Democrat-controlled Senate, and obviously the president is a Democrat. And still, most of the Trump-era tax cuts have lived through. So there's no way there's going to be any changes when you have the GOP in charge of the House. But you make the point, Tom, and Greg Vallier this morning, is the fact of the matter is these progressives cannot get any of this done through Congress. So they're looking internally, but they're going to do this and act congruently with each other across these states. This really comes from the Senator Elizabeth Warren. This comes from her playbook that you don't just tax income, you go after people's assets and wealth. And maybe it doesn't have legs, but this is something that is going to resonate with many members of the public.
The demonstrable reality is, as Greg Vallier says, get out the moving vans. Here come the moving vans, is what he says,
right.
Verbatim. I mean, this has been proven to Florida and other states as well.
Florida, Arizona, there has been, you see an exodus at times of people from these very high taxed cities. Think about those living in New York City. You pay federal, you pay state, you pay city tax. You have you have incredibly high rents, and then with inflation on top of that, and you compound that with the fact that you can, for most people, start to work more remotely at home. We obviously saw that exodus to Florida, and potentially if there's a wealth tax, it'll continue. I know you're laughing because you're living it.
I walked by Pharaoh's desk the other day. We never talk. I walk by his desk once a year, and he's got a map of Texas out on the desk.
I tell this story to everyone. I remember when I was moving over here 7-8 years ago, and the accountant said they'd give me a call. Bloomberg offers great service to relocate. So I take this call with the accountant. And I'm thinking, I'm going to be paying lower taxes in America. This will be great.
That's the canard.
Gets on the phone and says, federal income tax will be X. And I'm thinking, fantastic. Step down from where I was in the UK. And they said, no, we're not done. Mm-hmm. And then they start going state, city. I was like, what are you talking about?
This is so important. I'll let you go back to Anne-Marie here, John. The summation of the many taxes is
and
the
then
tension.
The property taxes on top of that. Question I keep asking is, how on earth do you retire in some of these states?
And see, one of the rare moments where corporate media it becomes self-aware. How do you retire? That's the thing, Jack. They want us to keep working until we're dead. Work.
Yeah.
Work. You get close to God. Look at Walmart. You got people in their 80s and freaking 90s being Walmart. No, I hate seeing that. When I see an old Walmart greeter, and I can't help but think of my grandpa or my grandma or my great, and I'm like, oh no, you should not. You should be relaxing, enjoying your golden years. You made it to your 80s and 90s. You survived. You didn't die of anything stupid. You didn't die young. You made it, but yet it's still working the same freaking machine. Honest to God, that would be a nightmare for me if that was me. Like I couldn't do it. No.
So I just want to commend the fact that Bloomberg put a father and son on TV. I think that's very good of them. It's like Daddy Warbucks and Daddy Warbucks Jr. is up there right now talking about this stuff. It's like the point is that everyone thought, me included, when the squad first started, that they were actually going to do what they said and that they would be fundamentally different and that they would work together and realize that they had a lot of power. But it turns out the Freedom Caucus are the only people that have made that specific understanding of how things operate. And the squad gave everything away, turned themselves into a joke, and have settled into conservative Democratic voting styles that don't really help us and keep them in personal wealth. So I want to congratulate AOC. She's going to be a millionaire. She has not, if she's not already.
Oh, she is. Goddamn.
She has accomplished her goal. She is personally wealthy and in the 1% and passing votes for the 1%. So congratulations, AOC. Everyone else in the squad of individuals. You did it. You committed violence against your own voting base.
Two things. First, Dina Williams writes, right on, Kit, and I'm a geezer and refuse to work. Enjoy. Seriously, I hate seeing that where someone is in their 80s and 90s. I remember one time I went to a Walmart. I think this was somewhere in Indiana or Wisconsin. This was like maybe 2 summers ago. Yeah, I know COVID was happening around that time, but I saw this old person and they were at Walmart and they were sitting in a chair and I'm like, oh no. Like that was just so sad to me. That was just devastating. And also Ryan Clark writes, but Kit, we have GoFundMe's to help those old workers. So it's all fine. That's right. That's the whole thing. Hey, squad, is it we're supposed to work till you die? We're all supposed to look at you as you enjoy your brunches and doing your dances.
Hey, they're going to be fine. They'll have the money to retire.
Yeah. This is not living, folks. And by the way, this whole idea of work. Look, I'm not dismissing hard work. I like working for the show. My dream is to get a whole studio building, making sure 99 Perspectives is doing great. But Daniel, that's your backyard. You want to make the studio great. I want to make Hard Lens Media be a powerhouse, Chicago Corner be a powerhouse, everything that we're working on. And that's something I like to work on. But what's being provided to the American people is hopelessness, medical bankruptcy, student debt, the inability to climb up. Small business owners aren't even given a chance. And I got to wonder, like, is this the end all be all dream of just working minimal jobs, minimum wage jobs to where the wage doesn't increase? This is not disparaging against hard work because everyone should work. However, if you're working in a system to where you cannot climb out, to where you're forever stuck, that's not living. And that's that weird puritanical logic that we're in. So this is my chance to start blaming the pilgrims, those goddamn pilgrims, and that puritanical mindset that has been embedded in America. Work till you get close to God. You want to know what everyone's biggest regret on their deathbed is? I wish I didn't work so much. God damn it, Daniel, final word.
Yeah, so what do we even do? Everything's bad right now. We're running into a recession. We just got out of a pandemic. The news is pretending none of this even exists. The government, whoever, if it's Trump or Biden, tell me there's something that's different that's going to happen. Really point out something. What is America, the richest, most powerful nation in human history, fights over feeding kids snacks at school?